Geraldine, you have a friend who has a very interesting hobby, a very interesting background. How about you introduce to our audience your friend Agnes and what her hobby is about?
She's a very smart lady and very imaginative in putting things together. In the last 13 years, she had a project in her mind for a long time, and she wanted to do a group of historical costumes on Barbie dolls.
Well, I've always been interested in history. It's my favorite subject. And of course, fashion. I was a wardrobe mistress for Cornwall Little Theatre. I had in the back of my mind for many years that I would like to do this sort of project. I kept on collecting bits and pieces. Anytime I'd see a little bit of ribbon or a little bit, I'd put it away. Someday I will have time to do this. I started with around the 11th century, and then went into the medieval, then the Tudor, the Elizabethan, like the Gainsborough period, Cavaliers. Then there's a Restoration cover, which I am a little bit very proud of my gentlemen there from the Restoration, because you see they were wearing periwigs at that time, and I wasn't quite sure how I could reproduce that. But I found that they were selling bamboo yarn, and I knitted the wig out of bamboo yarn, and it looks pretty. I'm rather proud of him. I tried to find dolls with the right expression and the right hair. Like you see, the Georgian lady had really a problem with the hair, and as it is, it's coming down a bit. I made some little hairpins out of gold wire, as you can see. There's some there, to try to give her the right sort of Marie Antoinette sort of hair.
I think you've succeeded.
That's cute.
And you see this other, the World War I couple, of course. Little lady, who I copied actually that from a movie, that outfit. I did not want to insult any real regiment, so I adapted it. He has the cavalry breeches, and of course his hat I made out of needlepoint instead of, in order to get the shape. The straw hat there is also made out of needlepoint.
So that's why I kind of approached you to see if she could have them in a museum, and show, I mean, not often you see these people at that age be so crafty and into history. She loves history.
Subsequently, Agnes did offer, and we accepted at the Cornwall Community Museum to receive her collection. So it's in a nice cabinet behind glass with lighting, and people can see, more people can enjoy it.
I'm Brent Nixon. I'd just like to thank Don Smith for this opportunity of showcasing my hobby that I dearly love. Started at this probably about 6-7 years ago. What led from one gas pump, vintage pump, ran into quite a few pumps, I guess, over the years. Met many great people along the road in my hobby with the same interest, and it's just kind of mushroomed and loving every minute of it. This is the oldest pump in my collection. It's built by Bowser. Mr. Bowser built that pump in the year 1900. It was built as a water pump at first. They used it for that, but it didn't pan out. They had problem sucking the water from any depth in the ground. So obviously he spent a lot of money to build a pump, and they wondered, what are we going to do with that? It could have been either a kerosene pump or a gasoline, probably not. It was more likely a kerosene pump. This is a Tokium 850, pretty rare pump, hard to find. This old girl is probably one of the roughest ones that I've ever had in the collection. It was literally, there was nothing left on it. This has all been replaced. Top panels replaced. This has turned out to be a real problem. Cannot buy any panels for this. This is all homemade replica from an original set of panels. So I was lucky enough to get an old collector of mine in Michigan to make panels for me. This is old poly gas pump. This is a Canadian-made pump. Service Station Equipment made this pump. Was based out of Toronto, Ontario. This pump here would have been considered a second generation pump because of this method, changing to seeing visible gas and your gallons. The first generation, there was no markings. It was filled with a little catch can, and the gas could be dirty. It could have been anything in that can. So they moved to a pump like this. This pump, whenever I got it, was basically like some of the other ones. There was so many parts and pieces missing. A lot of parts had to be manufactured. Could not buy parts, no replacement parts for it. So this one was all, even down to the face plates here, is all handmade. Down to the tail and the bottom is handmade, and it's made to original specs. It looks so close that a normal person wouldn't notice any difference on it. This was the first pump that showed its face around my collection, and to this day the old guy I bought it from, I got a comment on him and blame him, because I said, look what you did to me. I bought that one pump and it led to more and more, and anyway, we still talk about that. He's still around, great old guy. Here we are in the shop. This is where stuff gets its birth. Comes in here pretty rusty, and usually it goes out pretty nice. We try to do all our own work here, as much as we can. Obviously there's things I can't do, like sheet metal. I've got to have professional make that for me. But I try to do my own painting and sandblasting. We've got our glass cabinet here for anything small enough.